Thank you for staying with us, and let the voting begin. Tomorrow, the Iowa caucuses will be held, the first ballots cast in the 2016 race to the White House. Candidates from both parties are making their final appeals to the public as the latest Des Moines Register poll shows the leaders running neck and neck. ABC News has more.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
Could the insurgent candidates actually walk away with a win in Iowa?
What the pundits say, well, young people, they come out to rallies, but you know what? They're not going to come out to participate in the caucus. So how would you like to make the pundits look dumb on election night?
An energetic Bernie Sanders played to his largest crowd yet, as the last major poll before the Iowa caucuses has Sanders within 3 points of Hillary Clinton. But Clinton appeared confident, joined by the whole family on the trail.
I'm just thrilled that Chelsea and Bill can be with me.
Also joining her, former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords.
Speaking is hard for me, but come January, I want to say these 2 words, Madam President.
And on the Republican side, the last poll has Donald Trump at 28, Ted Cruz at 23, as Trump hits Cruz's Canadian birth hard.
You just can't run.
Cruz laughed it off in public.
I will say this, when Donald insults you, it's always interesting.
But he's taking fire from other candidates, too.
He's decided to run a very, deceitful campaign at the end on some things. People see through that.
Yes, and I-24 News correspondent Danielle Ziri is in Iowa ahead of the Donald Trump rally, and she filed this report. Let's take a look.
Yes, Donald Trump will be making his way here to Kern Middle School in Council Bluffs, Iowa, about a 2-hour drive from the city of Des Moines in an hour, or maybe a little more than an hour. But the people that you see behind me here have been lining up for a while, and it is very, very cold here in Iowa. They've said they're pretty excited to see Donald Trump ahead of the vote tomorrow, and the polls are showing that he is leading. He's widened the gap between him and the second one in the list, Ted Cruz. And so the polls that are coming out from the Des Moines Register, the local paper here, said that 28% of likely caucus goers on the Republican side are supporting Donald Trump versus 23% for Ted Cruz. So he has widened that gap, and it looks like he may win Iowa tomorrow. Of course, we will know tomorrow, but Donald Trump has been very, very confident so far. He may be a little bit more worried this morning after a few days of a harsh campaign against him from Ted Cruz. They've released some ads on television showing actually Donald Trump saying some pretty bad things about Iowans and even calling them stupid.
Yes, Danielle Ziri, thank you very much. And I'm joined in studio by Mark Zal, co-chair of Republicans Abroad in Israel. Good evening.
Good evening, Ayman.
And Mr. Hillel Shenker, chair of Democrats Abroad in Israel. Good evening.
Also good evening, Ayman.
Well, Mr. Shenker, as we just heard, Clinton now holds a slim lead over Sanders.
Yes.
Let me play Hillary Clinton for a second and ask, how did this happen?
How did this happen? Look, Bernie Sanders is running a very effective campaign. I enjoyed seeing him singing This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie, a song which was sung at the Obama inauguration by Bruce Springsteen and Pete Seeger. We should also remember that Bernie Sanders also was actually at the March on Washington in 1963, where Martin Luther King spoke about, I have a dream. So Bernie Sanders have a dream, and a lot of people are dreaming together with him. At the same time, Hillary Clinton is the one with the vast experience, and so there's no question that the average Democrat voter is now weighing, do I want to go with the vision and enthusiasm, or do I want to go with the solid experience?
And Mr. Zhao, we just saw Danielle Ziri reporting there from Iowa ahead of the Trump rally. It seems that him boycotting the Fox debate did nothing to damage his popularity.
Well, look, Donald has a uncanny ability to figure out what new stunt will improve his position, and he's great at it. He's riding a wave of popular discontent that's fueling not only the Republican primaries but the Democratic primaries as well. Bernie Sanders is a protest candidate, and so is Donald Trump, and to a certain extent, Ted Cruz. But with all of the talk about this tight race between the two of them, they barely cross half of the electorate. There's a huge number of voters out there that are split among a very large number of candidates in the lower tier, including Marco Rubio, who have something to say about this, and many of them haven't decided. The other thing, Iowa's a very strange place. It doesn't work like an ordinary primary vote. You come in, you push a lever, or you put a ballot in a ballot box. You have to show up physically at a caucus in your precinct or your county and kind of stand there and get counted. The ability to produce people at those caucus is a function of these candidates' ground game and their infrastructure. So we're going to be interesting to see how Donald Trump's media personality, which has been driving the polls up to now, turns into actual get out the vote statistics in Iowa.
Well, one of the things that are interesting about Trump is that it seems that he's putting the Republican Party in a tough spot. Today, the New York Times said John Kasich is, quote, the only plausible choice for Republicans tired of the extremist frontrunners. Would you agree?
Oh, look, one of the things that's happening in the Republican primaries, I love it. I must tell you, it's exciting. It's democracy at its essence. There was another writer in the New York Times today that talked about this democratic effervescence. I mean, it's the American people doing what they do the best. When they're angry, they come out to the election, they express their anger in their votes. They're upset with the political establishment. They're upset with the Republican political establishment in Congress. They're upset with the Democratic political establishment in Washington. They want a new...
Why are they upset?
Because they're tired of people just talking about... politicians talking out of both corners of their mouth. They want somebody that will talk the talk, to be straight with them, to abandon this political correctness, this mealy-mouth political talk that people that have become accustomed to. They want action. It's not enough for them to have America kind of trotting along. They want to change. The people on the left want to drive it off towards socialism, and the people in the Republican Party want to see America return to its traditional values. Now, it's going to be it's a fascinating race. It's a lot of energy and a lot of interesting ideas, a lot of substantive ideas going out there. So I think it's all in all, thus far, it's been a real victory for democracy, and I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out.
Mr. Schenker, I'm sure you have a lot to respond.
I must say, Mark, that I'm also enjoying the Republican primaries because the Republican circus is what will guarantee a Democratic victory in 2016. Now, I think at the same time, we do have to take the Iowa caucuses, which are a very strange creature. You're allowed to continue to lobby, even in the caucus itself, something that you don't do at any other primary. And there is actually even a movement to not have the Iowa caucus be the first test, because Iowa is so atypical of America as a whole, and it will be definitely a boost to whoever wins, particularly if it's Sanders and Trump, but it no way guarantees that they will be the candidates in the final analysis.
I think what I like about Hillel's chat is that he forgets what's really threatening the Democratic Party. He talks about the Republican circus. I think it's as I said, it's a celebration of democracy. But in the Democratic side, you've got some corruption issues. You've got the leading candidates. Up till now, she was called the presumptive nominee, who is now being seriously investigated by hundreds of FBI agents about violating American secrecy laws,
which
the State Department, that she headed, just turned out this past weekend 22 top secret emails. I mean, she's got a lot of problems. She's got a problem with the grunge factor. She's got this Clinton Foundation money that no one's been able to explain, and she's got a serious problem with the voters' trust. I mean, she, as opposed to Bernie Sanders, this kind of flake from Vermont, she can't generate more than 55% of her of the electorate thinks that she's trustworthy. In other words, she's a liar. That's why Michael Bloomberg is sitting there in the wings, ready to jump into the Democratic race. And you'll see it.
The polls are saying that the Democrats who would vote for a Democratic candidate, 80% trust Hillary Clinton and would vote for her. Also, about 70%
what about the independents? What about the independents?
The independents will also, when they are faced, when they are faced with the choice between Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, and there will be a team, I assume maybe like Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton and O'Malley, when they see the Democratic team, whoever they will be, versus whoever the Republican team will be, I have no doubt which way the electorate will go.
Well, Hillel is, of course, a prophet, and so he knows all the truth now.
I was right in
10 months in advance.
2012, and I was right in 2008. I assume I will be right in 2016 as well.
Well, we'll see.
Mr. Zell, you were right in predicting we were going to talk about the Clinton email scandal. That's what we're going to do right now. Mr. Hillel Schenker, Mr. Mark Zell, thank you very much. Always an honor to have you in our studio.
Great to be here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Now, as promised, additional developments in the Clinton email scandal. The U.S. State Department acknowledged for the first time that top secret information has been found in emails that passed through the private server that Hillary Clinton used while leading the agency's I-24 News correspondent Uri Shapira has more.
Had Hillary Clinton known how much trouble her emails would cause her, she may have decided to use a good old fax machine instead. On Friday, the U.S. State Department admitted that the former Secretary of State, now front-runner for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2016, had 22 documents containing top-secret material on her private server.
These documents were not marked classified at the time that they were sent. We have worked closely with our interagency partners on this matter, and this dialogue with the interagency is exactly how the process is supposed to work.
The scandal erupted last March when it came to light that while serving as Secretary of State, Clinton used her private email account rather than the official State Department email account located on federal government servers. Coupled with the Benghazi affair, the incident became a fruitful source for attacks on Clinton and overshadowed her credibility and capacity to take tough decisions.
Hillary Clinton put some of the highest, most sensitive intelligence information on her private server because maybe she thinks she's above the law.
I can take it to Hillary Clinton because my life is an open book. Her life is a closed book. Her life is one of mistrust.
Heading to the Iowa caucus, the new revelation may affect Clinton, who's leading the race by only a tight margin over her opponent Bernie Sanders. But she does not appear to be too worried.
I just don't think most people are as concerned about that as they are about what we're going to do to get the economy going.
What's in the controversial emails? The State Department refused to give clear answers, but officials said recently they may contain highly sensitive information regarding special access programs. It seems now that what started as a minor incident has evolved to become a major obstacle for Clinton and her crew, something that may send her political career all the way to the recycle bin.
Thank you so much. Wow.